on the CT side and Complexity on T. Snow going to set himself up at the B halls and have a little bit of a look-see. He's going to have some kind of contact headed in his direction, and it's a slow contact. Davideus in the perfect spot, but Halser just knocks his head off, and that is not the start to the map or the pistol round that you want here if you are paiN. 60 on the late flank as well in through Ivy is going to catch up with NQZ, and already it's just falling to bits for paiN here as they try desperately to hold on to this A bomb site. But he's a coach. He's going to be good for one. He's great for the 1-for-1, but he can't do any more than that.
Yeah, Snow and Demo got a lot of work to do. Some of the young players coming into this paiN project wanting to try to prove something, but unfortunately they are in a bit of a cook situation right from the outset. Grim going to put Demo down, and Snow, not much for him to do either. Complexity off to a hot start here on the T side of train. A 3K for Halzerk in the pistol, and especially when they're able to deny Davideus that pretty nice timing up there with the dualies. You saw him lining up a lot of players, but that is the key kill there from Halzerk, denying that aggression, because that could have gone horribly wrong for Complexity.
Yeah, huge start. Nice guys, very happy with the start there. Complexity, as they should be. Pistol round on a map like Train, always going to be nice to pick up on that T side. Sets them up nicely for success here. We got the 4-1 split, pretty standard stuff to start things off with this force by 4 paiN.
Definitely stacked towards the outside yard. There's their flashes up over the top. It's a nice outside take here for Complexity, and you can see paiN just trying to dig their heels into the site for now.
Molly going to be tickling at the feet of Davideus, though he hasn't been cleared out of back bomb. And this could still end up being awkward, but 60, very well aware of that, will knock his head off. Halzerk as well, getting the kill onto Demo, and yeah, I mean, no harm really done here for Complexity at all, as they will get that plant down, and paiN are hoping to just try and save the 5-7 and the scout through to the next round. So far, relatively unsuccessful.
Yeah, not too much damage here for paiN. It's a hot start here for Complexity. 6 is already on the hunt. He was the man sent out with the MAC-10, and we'll go down to the scout of NQZ there, but I don't think he's really too troubled about that. His job is well and truly done. He's quite happy to just go ahead and upgrade into the next round, having cracked in a couple of entries on the MAC-10 this round. He's already pretty much made his money back, and Complexity with 4 rifles up here, this is exactly the start you'd want to the T side of train. They really have a great opportunity to front run here. And paiN, we've touched on it already a couple of times. This is already an uncomfortable map for them. If you wanted to see them have some success, you'd really want to see them get their CT side economy rolling on nice and early and have a little bit of momentum into this game. But as it stands here, they're going to have to really have some consistency on this CT side to get back into this game and get cracking.
Still a little bit of an investment into this one for paiN. They've decided to go for a few grenades. See where that ends up getting tossed. Could be just toward T-Con. Davideus holding on to a couple, and Rick's there as well. So they are indeed going to get tossed in towards T-Con, in towards Olaf. Not a huge amount of damage done. 60 copping a little bit of a beating, but he's not too perturbed by that one at all. And this is really just looking quite easy breezy for Complexity at the moment. Just sort of working through the motions of taking this A site over and over and over again. And at this point, obviously, it's hard for paiN to hold on. You do need a lot of util to kind of make things work on that A side if you are the CTs. You know, you want to be able to molly off T-Con early on in the round and chop a couple of flashes and stuff like that to try and contest for space, and they just don't really have that opportunity at the moment. So we'll see how things go when paiN actually do get the guns in their hand, but for now, things are obviously looking pretty rough.
Yeah, they're still kind of sitting in some exit positions, you know, expecting Complexity to go ahead and push and feed them a little bit, but I don't know. I think you really want to try to take rifles out of the hands of the T's here, and you're definitely going to want to be upgrading into the next round. I guess Snow does have Kevlar and a fair few nades that he wants to maybe take into the next round. For NQZ, though, definitely looking for an upgrade on the scout. So I'm surprised they're playing really passive over towards spawn here. Nyx spotting them out from upper ramp. Going to get tippy-tapping away with the Galil, but after all said and done, I mean, Complexity, it's pretty much the perfect start to the T side of train here. They're going to be very happy with how this game has started for them. Yep.
Perfect chance to snowball this game as well, which I think would be in line with expectations, really, for how this matchup should go. Yeah, a lot of people watching that FaZe versus paiN game yesterday sort of expected FaZe to really just run over paiN, even with some of the issues that they've been having. But wasn't really the case. So now it's up to Complexity to uphold that end of the bargain as well. paiN very much the underdogs at IEM Melbourne, but we'll see whether or not that changes as this one kicks off into the first gun round of the map.
Yeah, a bit
Already
more control.
more space.
Yeah, a bit more control of tcon there this time for paiN. You do see a change up for complexity, though. They did a lot of fast plays towards outside early on in the round. This time it's going to be a bit more of an Ivy default. Just waiting out the initial wave of CT util here. Demo has got control of tcon. Do see complexity getting ready to retake it, though.
Yeah, progression smoke out here, and Demo just going to have to back it up. Oh, opting not to shoot, though. Would have surely picked up a kill had he done so. And Holzerk, he's holding on to a couple of flashes here, so I imagine that once this smoke starts to fade, or just on a timing, you'll see some of that util getting tossed on in. He's got the smoke in for the right side. And the take is going to start to ensue for complexity, slowly but surely. There's the flash.
You see the CT setup really shuffling a little bit. They had some control of Pop Dog there. Now they're looking to reposition back towards the bomb train here as complexity start to make some moves on Ivy.
40 seconds left in the round. Complexity working their way into the bomb site. Demo finds himself the opener, but still the kills are coming through for complexity. They do manage to retain Ivy, but they're starting to lose their grip on the site, and Nick out onto the B site as well, causing a bit of a ruckus. That'll pull a rotation in from NQZ. Bombs going over in that direction. Complexity playing a very fluid game at the moment on the T side. So just sort of reacting in the mid-round based on what's occurring, and they will get themselves a bomb plant down on B, which was certainly not the original strategy, but it's worked out nicely as Nyx is able to push his way into CT spawn and catch Demo off guard. So you can really see that Complexity are comfortable on this map. They're comfortable making snap decisions in the mid-round, and it's already off to an absolute flyer for them now. This will be a 4-0 lead. First gun round under the belt.
It's exactly what you want from your B lurker on the extremity there. Nick's just able to pick one on the rotation, and here's just that contingency plan on the T side that allows Complexity to pivot after that skirmish towards Ivy on outside where they're just trading down players. He's able to give them a plan B, rotate back up through Pop Dog in towards inners, and win that post plant pretty easily. NQZ, though, has held on to the AWP, and there's a little bit of money there for paiN if they do want to invest around it. Couple players with enough M4 and util, but they're still yet to get anything too much done on this this CT side here. And you can just see Complexity after this slow crawling default, multiple layers of utility invested over towards Ivy. They finally start to close in. They get control of tcon yet again, and they start to pinch that out of sight. And that was, you know, pretty uncomfortable for paiN. They dealt with it decently. Holzer going for this opening pick. Does cop a nade, but he's able to find the opener onto Rix nonetheless.
Yep. Good solid start again for Complexity. Davideus might try to take matters into his own hands here and activate in the mid-round, but Complexity not even going to give him the time to do that. They're just so confident into that B bomb site. Molly in as well for Davideus. He can't push out of SL.
It's a save. I mean, there's just not much you can do about that. That's beautiful sequencing on the T side from Complexity there. You see them very slow, kind of crawling default, slowly constricting Ivy control and, you know, getting ready for that outside pinch in the previous round. And that round, they just pick up the pace. Holzer goes for the pick towards tcon, finds it. That's going to pull a little bit of a rotation from that lower ramp player, or the rotator rather, in through CTcon to reinforce outside, and then they're just able to find the pick on the lowest player. Now trying to hunt down NQZ, take this AWP out of their hands. The money's fantastic for Complexity, so they're really just sending it at him. He's going to connect the no-scope, but you see more and more Complexity players closing in. They just want to trade down as many guns as they can. Their money means much less than what paiN can bring through into the next round, and they end up going 2 for 2. paiN only saving one rifle there, so I'm not sure if they can put a buy together in this next round.
Yeah, importantly, taking that AWP away. I mean, everyone had pretty much brought down to 0. Demo and NQZ were at 50. Snow was at 0. Rick's 350. Davideus 900. So not a whole lot of cash in the back pocket there, as you've sort of mentioned for paiN. It'll be tough for them to put together a buy. Obviously, loss bonus is building up pretty substantially, but you can see the numbers there are just not quite conducive to a full buy here. So if anything, might just be a little bit of a half buy behind the saved AK. You've got a little bit of util being invested in here by Snow. There's armor across the board, so you know you can jostle that AK around if maybe there's the opportunity to do that.
Yep.
But it's definitely not going to be a fantastic buy for paiN here, and for lack of a better word, the pain continues, right? You're down 0 and 5. You're probably going to be down 0 and 6. I mean, this is a real roughie.
Got a lot of MP9s in the mix. Big presence in towards T-Con here from the CTs. Demo going to lead the charge with the singular rifle saved over from the previous round, but Complexity not really in a rush. Mostly creeping their way in through halls towards inners. Little bit of pressure over towards Ivy here. I think JT's just whiffed his Ivy smoke a little bit there, but he's really just trying to keep the CTs interested on outside.
Complexity slowing it down a little bit more so in this round. Not too keen to run into a stack. And QZ on the boost outside of SL. We'll see if 60's going to check for that. It's a tough one to check for. And he will lose his life. So maybe starting to come together a little bit for paiN in this round, which is not something we could really said about any of the other rounds. But here's the execute out onto B. Snow unable to land his shots with the 5-7 there, and that is the B site going to be taken. So despite a player advantage, paiN, they didn't really have their forces where they needed to, and so it will be another round for Complexity.
Yeah, we'll see if paiN is going to go and try to recover that rifle in from Top Dog. Rix and NQZ may either look for that or just try to find some kind of an exit, some kind of value out of this half-buy here as Complexity hit that inners timing really nicely despite losing 60. Over towards Pop Dog, they're not too worried about it. You can see now Rix going looking for that gun. Thinking about it. Not going to commit in there, though, expecting maybe the T's to be holding on to that for now, or just waiting for the bomb before he feels safe enough to go and find that. Hulzerk actually going down with the bomb, though, will lose Complexity and AWP, which usually would be a bit of a concern, but in this case, they've just got so much money with their beautiful 6-0 star. A lot of very clean, convincing rounds on the T side.
Yeah, there's really not much to say about it, is there? This is a bit of a whitewash, bit of a steamroll so far. Starting to feel like a very difficult map for paiN to win. Maybe even impossible the way things are going at the moment. And it just becomes a question of how far can Complexity push this advantage, because there's no doubt about it. They are the better team on train right now.
Oh, Snow under a lot of pressure. He's lost a lot of HP to, I think, some nades thrown in there from Complexity. AWP here over onto Ivy has been a focal point in a couple of these rounds for Complexity on these slower T-side defaults. This time, once again, they're just taking their time, splitting the map. Grim looking for a timing. He's crept through onto outside. Up into that progression smoke towards Sandwich. Beautiful opener from Hulzerk. paiN in a lot of trouble now.
And QZ might be the difference maker, though. Deep still in toward Ivy. Couldn't be able to find that double down, but yeah, I mean, again, it's a bit of a chaotic round, just kills happening all over the place, back and forth, but every time you see that, it seems to be Complexity that ultimately do come out ahead in the exchange.
Big flank around from Rix, though. Really looking for the timing to creep through T-Con. This actually may catch one of these cold players off guard. JT going looking for it. He can hear the footsteps. Unfortunate. Rix caught a little off guard there, but I think that flank timing had some potential.
Yeah. If he kept walking, I actually think he might have gotten the first kill for free. I was starting to ramp up for a nice coach 2v1 clutch. That would have been a nice way to kick off the proceedings for paiN, but it didn't end up happening. Just tried to pick the pace up, and JT turns around and deals with him accordingly. 7-0 the lead, and yeah, this game is starting to become a bit of a non-factor, really, for paiN. Starting to think about Anubis.
Complexity putting all of this work into, you know, adopting the new map in the pool is really reaping its rewards right now. There's a lot of teams that have been kind of slow adopters of Train, really starting to creep its way into the map pool over the last couple of months, and teams kind of more heavily playing it. Rick's going to go down. Another entry from Grim over towards T-Con this time, but NQZ aggression over on Ivy, really deep on the CT side, going to even up the numbers here. This is where JT's trying to activate, along with the rest of Complexity. Let's go for this contact approach straight in towards inners, but Snow going to further chip down the numbers for Complexity.
Oh, deleted though by JT, but NQZ still kind of keeping himself in the mix here. Hulzerk, under a lot of pressure, trying to go forward, combat AWP style. And he's got that Tech 9 now in hand as well. He's going to couch NQZ in the back. There's no way he's turning around. What? Hang on, he's gone all the way into CT spawn.
Turn around, Chief.
What's going on here? The GPS is the wrong directions.
Oh no. It's an open plant for the other side, but that's a pretty nice... Oh no, it's a molly, not a smoke. Hulzerk Able to find Demo, but now position recognized, and there was actually a smoke on the bomb.
He was looking for the rifle.
There you
He was
go.
looking for the rifle. I mean, that's just a really awkward round for Complexity.
Very winnable for Holzerk if he doesn't go into CT spawn there. All he needs to do is turn around. So, look, honestly, a little bit of fortune there for paiN. They lose the opening pick in towards Con. Nice peg back from NQZ with the aggression over on Ivy's side. Snow does a really good job just going 1 for 1, but NQZ is really kind of the star of this round. Over on the rotation, big 3K from him. So a little bit of good fortune, a little bit of an individual performance from Europa on the CT side. Makes for a nice first gun round here for paiN.
Grim on the entry duty. And Complexity looking for a little bit of revenge after that last round, although 33 HP here for Grim, stuck behind E-Box. Doesn't look like a great spot to be in. Surviving for the moment, eventually will be brought down by Rix. That'll be a 1 for 1. Demo getting involved as well, and again, 1 for 1s, trades all over the place until NQZ comes into play and puts this one squarely on the shoulders of paiN. It should be their round, a 2v1, but JT working all the way through to Ivy. Was spotted, was aware. NQZ looking better and better on this CT side as we go deeper and deeper into the half.
He's playing phenomenal. The dude's 10-3, multiple multi-frags in to be able to win paiN in both of these gun rounds. He is really the hard carry of the team right now. Really good positional play with the orb. You can tell he's just very confident, being very fluid, moving around these angles. It's exactly the skill set you need from your AWPer on Train, especially in the kind of modern version of Train where things have been switched up. You have to play a little bit more around the trains. You can't just play those kind of patient AWP lines that you used to on old versions of Train all the time. Complexity changing things up now, back into the 1-4. They've left JT to throw a little bit of util pressure towards Ivy. I think that's... I don't know if he's trying to throw that smoke or he's trying to throw the progression smoke towards the end. But I've seen him throw the smoke into that cubby multiple times now.
Well, it might not come into play this round anyway because we're setting ourselves up for a B-pop here. Davideus having a little bit of a look in. Nice time on the grenade. This is a good flank timing as well. But again, Holzerk aware of that. 2 for 1. Holzerk did drop up in B halls, and that is the bomb on the floor, but it'll be somewhat retrieved by Nikex. 60 up close. You see his teammate fall, but instant trade coming out, and again, Complexity just kind of playing this Wolfpack style very nicely. Standing close to one another, trading for one another. NQZ grabbing the kill onto 60, but flank coming around into CT spawn will be more than enough. You're never expecting JT there, and Complexity will get themselves another round.
See them very comfortable playing these kind of lurky styles, or very skirmish heavy in a lot of these rounds. That round, just a simple 1-4. Another flank denial from Holzerk. We kind of outlined that Davidis was the player to watch for paiN heading into this series, and he has really been denied a lot of impact by Holzerk. There are multiple rounds here where he could have had a big multi-frag with the flank timing, but as such, he hasn't really got anything done yet.
Money's been broken as well for paiN, so the half that's been very difficult is only going to get more and more difficult. Should be a 9-2 lead here for Complexity. And Nix just waiting to see if he's going to get his opportunity, but it is Grim that is on this entry duty and getting the lion's share of the job done. Bomb plant will be going down shortly. Unfortunately, not much to say about a round like this one for paiN.
Nah.
Gonna get swamped by Complexity, and I mean the half, it's going to end up being a double digits half from Complexity on the T side of Train, which is just absolutely egregious.
This has been a great game from 60. Of course, I've cursed him as soon as he peeks into Snow there. We will at least take one exit with him on the MP9, but... well, I was going to say it shouldn't matter too much for Complexity. Look, it probably won't as we head into the last round of the half. They have plenty of money to be able to drop that AK over. They were finally starting to run out of cash a little bit due to multiple impact rounds on the AWP there from NQZ, but it's not really going to bother them. They have just been in free flow on this T side. And you can tell 60 is just in bully mode. He's playing with full confidence. He's taking his own initiative, quite happy to just run on in and take duels self-sufficiently. So you can tell that Complexity is in a really good state of mind. They're feeling very confident right now. And they will head into the last gun round here. And once again, it's a 5-man commitment this time towards Inners.
And QZ this time missing the shot. He's going to be overwhelmed. There's no way he's getting out of there alive. It's just a question of how good are the trades. Snow for one only. It will be the B-side taken by Complexity. Quick smoke out is going to allow paiN out from Connector. But Grim sitting inside of the smoke needs to only pick a good timing, and he should get two. Ends up only with the one, but provides enough space for the bomb plan to go down. Wolzerk locked in. Did not see Davideus, which leaves it on to Sixy, who will take this upper position once again. May not be necessarily expected by paiN for a second player to come from here, so he'll get the freebie onto Davideus, the molly down onto the bomb as well. There is no smoke for Demo, and no defuse kit for him either, so this is going to be a pretty rough round for him, as unfortunately, he just has to see that one go by the wayside. Toss a couple of flashes in the sky. It's not a celebration, unfortunately, for paiN, and that is Complexity with a 10-2 half. Double digits on the T side of Train. Well, there's not a lot to be positive about to start day 2 of IEM Melbourne for paiN. They got themselves 2 rounds on the CT side of Train. It was at the paiN train, really, if you will, Pilski, because Complexity just kind of, they got the bat out and they were doing some things with it.
Yeah. Things that I would assume would not be safe for broadcast, but I guess we're keeping the cameras rolling here. NQZ has kind of been the standout here for paiN. It's a quick one into the inner side. JT caught a little off guard by the pacing down low ramp, and they're just posted up waiting for him. Come on, mate. Have a go. Oh, what is that?
How about that one? Grim as well, with the dualies all able to chime in on the rotate in behind. So it doesn't get any better for paiN. Unfortunately, now requiring a 2-on-4 retake. Or post plan, I should say. I mean, I can't even get my words out before the round is over. Like, I'm trying to start, I'm trying to start something here, and then it's like, oh, by the way, there's like 5 guys dead already. You know what I mean?
They're coming in for the retake. Oh, they're dead. Okay.
Literally. What do you want me to do with this one?
I mean, Complexity, they're having a good time. paiN, I think they have definitely reserved their expectations, especially this map. They just go, yep, well, this might just be a bit of a hit the fast forward button. They got onto the site, they got themselves a plant. Pistol did not go well for them, but with that plant, exactly this, in comes the force. Got a couple of scouts out, so that is going to indicate to me that this might be a little bit of a slower one for paiN. They'll probably look for some picks, kind of crawl around the map a little bit. Not much util in the mix for paiN in this round. Rick's going to cop himself a little bit of a tag up, a little bit of a nade early on in this round. There's some T-Con control secured by Complexity early on here. paiN is getting a sandwich smoke, but it doesn't really deny much info when you've already got T-Con control here for Complexity. They're not really concerned about that.
Yep. Just got Nyx jiggling, as you do, as the B anchor. As soon as you get some contact. Yeah, wouldn't you like to know?
Oh, you're talking to a new bird, Jordan. All right.
Smokes down on the B bomb site, so that'll push paiN back away. And 60 happy to receive Demo's push in Ivy there for a bit more stat padding. This doesn't look good for paiN at all. MP9 on the exit of SL, holding on to T-Con as well. Can't say I've got a huge amount of faith that paiN are going to get much done here. Footsteps have been heard. JT will go for the swing. Oh, be one as well from Grim, but it's all actually kind of starting to get a bit awkward there.
Oh my god. There's spaghetti everywhere. But paiN are still the ones crying, unfortunately. And for all our Oz CS call-out enjoyers, or those that don't enjoy them, SL is Pop Dog, guys.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't even realize when I'm doing
it.
It's
short ladder. That's what we'd call it in the Oz call-out. A more valuable thing to tell you guys than what's happening in the game right now.
You know, you know the short ladder on train, right? Like the short ladder.
Yeah, short ladder.
Pretty obvious where short ladder should be, to be honest.
Yeah, but I don't know. You guys all call it Pop Dog. So there you go.
Dog pop. I mean, to be fair, it does have a Pop Dog graffiti on it now, but that is not the short ladder. Actually. That's the ladder to heaven.
Well, here we go. We got paiN 1-4, and Rix has already dived out T-Con and gone down. The rest of paiN trying to send it straight up through Ivy, and it's not going any better.
No. This is kind of like a victory lap, really, the second half for Complexity. Just getting to go around the stadium, give everyone a bit of a wave, bit of a high five as they finish off the first map. 13-2, GG. Well, there's not very much excitement, is there? Because that was more of a formality than anything else for Complexity. But hey, I mean, a fantastic way to start day number 2. I think you could even go back and look at day 1 and say Complexity looked pretty good there. They might not have necessarily deserved to be down in the lower bracket based on the way things are going for them. But then we'll have a conversation about Inferno. So it does feel like a big uphill battle for paiN to try and keep themselves alive at IEM Melbourne. And there's a chance that in about 30 to 40 minutes, we will see them as the first team eliminated from Melbourne. But we'll see what they can bring to the table here on Anubis. On T side, they're going to start. Oh, sorry, on CT side, they're going to be starting. And that's very much the expectation, as it was the map pick of paiN. So Complexity obviously choose to start on T. And everything kicks off with well, not really a bang, actually. Everything's kind of slowed down.
Yeah, Complexity just maybe anticipating some aggression on the CT side here for paiN. Running a bit of a default, holding in the middle of the map towards E-Box and Bridge. Do have Grim keeping an eye on B main for the push in the mid-round there. So Complexity really just feeling this one out. And paiN just giving them absolutely nothing. It's patient play from paiN here in the early to mid-round. So we'll wait for Complexity to make the first move. You do just have the flash set up there for Rix ready to open up something towards Bridge. There's a smoke from across the map. It's going to be a fake here towards this B site to try to draw the rotations, and especially with that entry, already seeing Rix on his way over to the B site. So Complexity should be a nice and easy entry into A, but they're making it work on B. They've just taken both sides at the same time here.
Well, that's the best way to do it, isn't it? You've got so many options when you have control of both sides. Bomb plant's going to go down on A. paiN don't even know. paiN surely don't even know. They're going to try and get something done on the B-bomb side. Best case scenario, maybe a kill or two. But even if they would kill all the players on this B-bomb site, it's very soon realize that the A site is going to be where the bomb plant went down. Grim gets the ace. And that's one way of starting the map.
Yeah, you can see this man's having a great time. Just wait for the playoffs, man. Everyone's going to be rubbing his head. Everyone is going to be very excited to see Grim in the playoffs. Consensually, of course. Make sure you ask permission first, guys. Very important, especially Mitchell Concannon. That guy, he's an absolute demon when it comes to the head rubbing.
He's a bit of a serial head toucher, that's for sure.
He loves head.
Yep, can't blame him. Loves the good things in life. And Complexity also enjoying the things in life,
man.
like anti-force by kills, anti-eco kills. It's more of an anti-eco, really, from paiN there. An eco from paiN, more of an anti-eco from Complexity. Yeah, this has so far just not been much of a contest at all.
This is the same as Train, though, and it wasn't it. I mean, it wasn't an anti-eco. Those are all MP9s, Jordan. It's got absolutely rolled on the force when they've stacked mid and B. Complexity's run straight into the stack and the crossfire, and they've absolutely rolled them with the MAC-10s. That's just unbelievable. That was the easiest anti-force you've seen in your life. I mean, you said it. It felt like an anti-eco. But sure, it felt like they were just running into USPs.
Oh, they did actually put some money into it, didn't they?
Yeah, they forced the whole round, bro. They had all MP9s.
All right.
They got absolutely slaughtered.
They did. It might as well have been an anti-eco.
Not for paiN, man.
Yeah, well, that's true, but the paiN continues. They are living up to their name.
Well,
this one is the eco.
Yeah, taking their time. Mollies to clear out some of these closer angles, and they're just going to kick off the A split. There's a couple of members here for paiN, so we'll see if they can take some guns away.
Not too much success so far, though. 60 will go down. A site's going to be taken pretty quickly. Smoke up for Cams. And NQZ will be watched like a hawk by Grim. As soon as he works his way out through that smoke, that's an easy kill. The man is up to 7-1 out of 3 rounds so far.
Snow seeing if he can take some guns away here from the T side, but not too much success. All just on Coach Rix. He's just been doing his best this event. See if he can take one gun away from anyone exiting through cams, but the majority of Complexity, in fact, all of them, just going to exit sensibly back through A main. Rick's going to go down with the bomb here. And Complexity off to a very similar start to what we saw on Train there. Very, very comfortable with how this game is going for themselves. Grim going to pick up the last kill. And finally, we'll get into the gun rounds here for paiN. See what they have prepped here on Anubis. I said they had a very good CT side yesterday indeed against FaZe. I mean, you were casting that game, but it looks like Davideus had a great time of things as an individual on the rifle. And I want to see, like we saw just then on Train, even though they only got the 2 rounds, I mean, both of them came off the back of some fantastic AWPing from NQZ.
Yeah, I want to say, I think actually NQZ was probably the one for me that felt like he was having a little bit more impact in a sense. I felt like he was definitely getting involved a lot early on in the round, so he'll be a focal point for me. That's a nice duel to win for Rix, and by the way, there's NQZ getting a nice one on to Grim. So as soon as the guns get in hand for paiN, the situation changes up a little bit. Complexity now going to have to work a bit harder.
Yep, they are going to start making some moves in towards this A side of the map. Execute coming in. NQZ just continues to deliver. JT at least getting an entry there onto Demo, but punished on the cross by Davideus. 60 trading one back. Into a 1-on-3 now, going to stick the plant.
He's going to get it as well. I mean, this is a winnable 1v3 with how low a couple of those players are. If you can get a clean kill onto Snow and maybe there's just a couple of whiffs coming out from those remaining paiN players, then yeah, 60 could get this one done. Oh, not if NQZ is going to land a shot like that. And exactly as I was saying, NQZ feels like he's one of those guys that can deliver quite a bit of impact on this CT side with the AWP, gets involved early in that round and then rotates his way back over to A, getting some work done over there as well. And so that is a positive sign for sure for paiN.
Totally agree. I think, you highlighted the duel one here in E-Box by Rix, and we see it in the replay there. Very important for him to win duels like that, particularly when it comes to E-Box control. You know, as a team that has just watched paiN play yesterday, you are definitely, there is some merit to thinking, where is the coach stand-in playing? At what position can I kind of isolate that player on the CT side and try to abuse the fact that he's just not a player with mechanics of a top-level player in CS? So I think that, you know, seeing him win duels like that over towards E-Box is very positive signs, especially in an important part of the map like that. Some aggression out of A main here, just waiting for the initial molly to elapse, dodging the flash beautifully. It's another opening kill for paiN.
Yeah, Nick's down early on in the piece, and Complexity on this T side starting to falter, starting to recognize that actually they are going to have to put in some work to win it. It's not going to be as easy as it was on Train. Oh, the spray. Not quite there from Grim, so he'll fall to Snow, and it is starting to snowball a little bit actually for paiN now. If they can put together a decent round here with a few guns alive, then their CT economy is going to build up quite nicely, and they will actually be off to the races for a decent first half. And yesterday, they actually had, I think it was an 8-4 CT half against FaZe as well.
I think it was 9-3, what I was seeing.
Oh, well, either way, JT's found himself a double entry into B, and that is going to be the B site lost. Oh, dear.
Oh,
it was just looking so good for paiN for a second, and then it kind of falls apart.
Yeah, still redeemable though. NQZ coming in on the rotate is probably got to take his time here, just post it up from spawn side. Demo would be the one that needs to actually get something done here, creeping in from E-Box. You can see Hulzerk just quite happy to play in B main, hand in hand with Sixy. They're waiting for the CTs to make the first move.
They're not really making much of a move at the moment. Probably going to go in for Plat. Hulzerk spots Demo as he tries to cross onto the bomb, and there's just no time. NQZ can't do anything.
That's just not a round you can afford to lose as paiN. You just had a really good opening gun round, and you were up in numbers, and you just see some individual brilliance. Complexity just waltzing their way into the B side, which is a very promising sign for them. Not only structure-wise that they look phenomenal at the moment, but you can really tell these players are feeling confident and informed. Sixy's been having a great series so far. On Train, he was just running around everywhere, just dominating paiN. JT cracking on into the site. Nice double entry from him. Hulzerk follows up. That's what I was talking about with JT. Like, I remember earlier games from Complexity where this man, it really does like to get in the mix and get aggressive on that T-side rifle on this map in particular. Should be a nice little nade stack here for Complexity over onto the pillar. Outside of E-Box. I don't think it's really going to catch anybody, though.
JT on his way in. Oh, once again, Rick's doing pretty well for himself, quite frankly, in E-Box, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough to hold on to the site itself. Nobody else able to chime in this round, and this will be a fifth for Complexity. So it's very quickly gone from, hey, paiN are actually not looking too bad. They might be able to pull this one back and put together a decent CT side, to you look at the scoreboard and go, shit, it's 5-1.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it comes off the back of that 2-on-4 or 3-on-4 like numbers disadvantage situation that Complexity just put together in round number 5. Demo looking for exits here. Hulzerk looks like he's going to oblige him perhaps, but ends up hitting him with the pistol whip. 5-1 for Complexity. Their money now looking pretty solid on the T side. The B site in particular has been a big point of contest, and Complexity have had a bit of an easier time making these B splits work very nicely for themselves. So that's going to have to be something that paiN will have to respect going forward. Maybe a little bit of a heavier B lean in some of these rounds, particularly in the mid round. Might be needed. You are seeing 3 players committing over there already. Demo will play retake A. It's going to be Davideus in the middle of the round, but immediately Complexity trying to stay one step ahead. Calling-wise are in for the A rush.
Oh, quick one as well. Decent trade from Nix, but he needs a little bit more than that. Davideus almost lining a couple up, but of course it can't go well for paiN. Complexity are on the paiN train. JT not expecting that push out from NQZ. It's actually quite a fast retake attempt from paiN before the bomb plan's even gone down. Nade almost clips Hulzerk to death. Somehow he survives. Grim's alive but low. This is an awkward spot to be in, but Grim Might be the one to dig them out of trouble if he can kill here. The nades are doing so much work, but Hallzerk pushing his way forward with the P250. Surely not. No. No, you can't be losing that round. Hallzerk has just absolutely destroyed them. And Complexity are now 6-1.
Oh, paiN. I mean, it's all smiles for Complexity, but this is where paiN, I don't think they're going to have the same kind of chuckle that they did over there on Train, because these will have been very frustrating rounds. I like the change-up in the calling there for Complexity. Hallzerk has just been so good at locking down some of these key flanking positions. You saw it in the game previously on Pop Dog, and then a huge clutch from him to close it out.
How does he get away with that? He literally runs from main onto the site.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing, there's no util or anything like that. He's just run out in no man's land, and then he's just ran. He's literally W-keyed at them with a P250, and he's won a 2v1.
It's outrageous.
And he was on like 30 HP as well. I mean, if that is not a confidence breaker for paiN, I don't know what is.
I mean, that was a nice flood onto A. They were playing just the one player over there. They recognized that they were a little out of position. They tried to flood in with some nice counter flashes. There was a lot of good disruptive utility that was slowing Complexity down in that round. I thought that paiN was going to be able to get that one done. Nyx, good defense of the Avery aggression there as that solo lurker on the other side of the map. Grim goes 1 for 1. But Snow, I mean, it's just too much for him to do here. The T's have already scaled out. He's completely surrounded. And Complexity will clean that one up nicely. 7-1. It's starting to feel like the curtains are closing for paiN here. Sure, they spent a lot of time traveling to this event. But, you know, they are getting really the Australian treatment right now. This is what Australian teams have to go through. Cheeky 30 hours of travel to get banged out in last place.
Yeah, and it usually happens in this fashion as well, depending on who you play against. But yeah, rough one for paiN for sure. But like you said, bit of an opportunity to maybe explore Melbourne, which is a pretty nice city. There are worse places to get stuck. Take a bit of downtime, relax, go see some beaches. I don't know. What do you even want to do in Melbourne? There's probably a lot of things.
You want to chill, go get some good coffee, some good food. Fantastic coffee and food in Melbourne. Like, unreal. What do you say?
Coffee.
Coffee?
Coffee.
Have I inherited an accent? Well, do see the lovely beach there. Not as good beaches in Melbourne. That's not really the beach city of Australia. NQZ in the middle of the map definitely had an opportunity to catch one there. Missed opener for paiN, of which they've had a couple of so far this game. Snow getting pushed out of E-box here. It's a double AWP on the CT side. Nyx has space here, and he's just going to take it. There is the opener they've been looking for, and Nyx doesn't get the job done. This is all going right in multiple different parts of the map for paiN.
Yeah, I will just say, this is the second 7-1.
He can't get away with this again! Hallzerk, what the hell, man?
You've got Pilsky making some funny noises.
I'm dying, bro. Like, what is this guy getting away with?
It's the second 7-1 of the series. We saw a 7-1 as well on Train, and I think paiN kind of taking that one personally. But we'll see if Hallzerk and Grim can put something together here. They've got a minute to play with. Smoke up outside of B main. If they would just walk through this smoke, which is exactly what they're going to do, this could be really bad for paiN. Grim's going to get a kill onto Snow. Could he knife him? If he knifes him as well... oh, dude, two knives in one round would have been so good.
How have they found that gap? Like, Complexities, again, in a man disadvantage situation, just walked on to B. Plant's going down now. Hallzerk and Grim, these are the two best players for Complexity right now. Hallzerk only going 1 for 1. Very doable 1-on-2 from E-box here for Grim.
Yeah, he's going to have to get out past that incend. It's ticking, and it will do enough. Oh, lucky for Demo. I think he's probably breathing a sigh of relief that he doesn't actually have to take that 1v1.
Bro,
and so it will be a second.
That's the third round this series that Hallzerk has just walked past multiple CTs. Just got away with some absolute BS. But
I'm just saying, I can't believe that Grim doesn't go for the knife there in E-box as well. Just to really like rub it in, you know.
Come on, man. They've suffered enough. But paiN, I mean, that is just another round. Dude, they got 3 openers. They were 5-on-2 there, and that still comes down to a winnable 1-on-1 for Grim, which tells you everything you need to know about this game. Like, paiN have found so many opening kills. The double AWP was a good change-up, bro, but regardless of how well they start around, like Complexity just continues to claw them back.
Yeah, individual skill, timing, decision-making, readings, I don't know, but it's working out for Complexity, that's for sure. Nade's going to go straight over bridge and land right at the feet of David, who cops quite a beating from it. Again, a decent start to the round here for Complexity, but that is going to be short-lived as Grim will go strafing into NQZ's scope. And again, NQZ has been reasonably solid. If you can sort of put a highlight on any of the players for paiN right now on the CT side, it has been NQZ that's been doing the majority of the work.
Oh. Brawling in through this A main smoke. Is another 1-for-1 for paiN, but this is where you start to get worried for them. Every time Complexity has started to make inroads in towards these sites, they're trading out decently enough. Another 1-for-1. Halzerk and Nyx still alive. Bomb is dropped in the open here, though, so Complexity have got some moves to make.
Halzerk going to chance the plant. Looks like he will be given it. And Nyx, in the meanwhile, is just going to get active, working his way into cams. That's going to give Halzerk a little bit more space as well to sort of just work his way up behind that smoke, but someone's going to have to be aware of main, and the timing on this push from Halzerk is no good at all, but Nyx can get 1 for free, 2 for free, and all of a sudden this round is on. Nyx on for the clutch, and it would be a nail in the coffin for paiN. Luckily, NQZ is there to clutch it out. Again, paiN really leaving it down to the wire, but they are getting a couple of rounds over the line.
Just scraping them together. And again, it's another round with an opening kill. Like, paiN is finding these advantages time and time again, and it still comes down into a one-on-one. Complexity doing a really good job keeping these rounds close, taking guns away from paiN. You can see the effects that's happening on the CT economy. Complexity have got a fantastic opportunity to just reset here and go for a really dominant T-side half if they can get across the line here in round number 11. Pretty slow start. Just util exchange in the early to mid round from both of these teams. A bit more of a heavier lean towards B, and once again Complexity looking for the B split, and once again paiN going to open up with 2 entries on the CT side here.
This time, doesn't look like they're going to be letting it slip, but of course it is Halzerk, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Oh. Well, all good. 4-7, and they're kind of putting together a decent CT side now. If they can get this 5th, it's not quite as good as what they had yesterday. They had 8, and then FaZe replied with 9. So you do have to sort of question, is paiN maybe going to be a little bit lackluster on the T side again? Have they been able to fully, properly integrate Rix into that conversation, and even Demo as well? You know, is the T side actually a little bit harder for paiN to be playing out at the moment than the CT side? And even though you'd think traditionally 5 on CT on Anubis is not too bad,
yeah,
maybe it's not enough actually for paiN. We'll find out when we get into the second half, but I think general wisdom would say that 5 is not a bad shout.
Well, this time does look like Complexity. A little bit more emphasis placed on this A side of the map, just running the 1-4. Progression smoke on B, just to deny info to the CTs. They can see they're thinking about rotating to B and kind of respecting that. Davideus was kind of leaning a little bit more heavily towards that B side of the map. Complexity with some Tech 9s in the mix, a little bit more limited on the util. Do use that progression molly into E-box and a util set to take A main here. So really trying to deny info to the CTs and mask their intentions here as they set up for the A-pop.
NQZ coming like an absolute madman as soon as he sees some of that util going down in A main. Definitely expecting this to be an A hit, and I think paiN are pretty well aware of that. What can they do about it? Well, NQZ can, of course, start nicely. He has been so solid. Won't quite land the 3rd shot, but does well enough. And with the assistance of Demo, the A site has been held. Grim. Oh, it would have been a pretty nasty spray down to get 2 there, but he still needed quite a bit beyond that. 7-5 the first half. It gives paiN a fighting chance heading into the second. Back in for the second half, and there's a little bit more to be said this time around for paiN, although it is still Complexity that are leading. They are moving into the CT half of Anubis with 7-5, couple of rounds to lead. You know, it's not enough to necessarily rest on your laurels here if you're Complexity, so quite interested to see how this one plays out and if paiN can find a way to push us through to 3.
Yeah, had a rough T-side yesterday, but we'll see if they can make up for that. I mean, this is their map pick in the series, so do have to have a pretty decent idea of what you want to be doing on T-side Anubis. It's the side that you often look forward to playing a lot of the time. And similar to what we saw in the opening pistol, it's a slower one. Davideus trying to find a gap up E-box there, and JT puts a bit of a gap in his head. Rix catching someone on the aggression straight across bridge side, but unable to punish Grim, who just re-peeks him. Disrespect from Complexity is unreal here. I mean, he's just bullying a coach.
Yeah, that's some illegal gameplay from Grim. He might get more as well. He's got himself another 3 kills in the round for Grim. And he's still alive. How is he still alive? How is he doing this? This is just unreasonable stuff from Grim. NQZ going to have to do much the same with the dualies. I wouldn't be surprised to see Grim just grab this final kill as well, because that's kind of the way it's felt that this pistol round is going. Doesn't want to overplay his hand, though, from Cams, and he's going to let the high HP players get the job done. So that will be another round for Complexity as Grim is putting together a pretty nice map of Anubis for himself. He's now 18-9.
He's feeling good in this current iteration of Complexity. He was saying a little bit in the pre-show, but Grim is back in hard carry mode. Bloody phenomenal to see. Great stuff from JT as well. Multiple timings found there. Punishing that E-box aggression from Davideus and then coming in on the rotation. Full eco here for paiN. Backing themselves in round number 15 with the guns and util. Could see Complexity eager to just get this one over and done with. Aggression over on waterside. Grim just taking some duels here with the M4. Hand in hand with JT. But they've had their bell rung a couple of times, so they'll have to respect it for now.
A couple? All four of them are down to a one-shot. That's crazy. You don't often see that. Should be an easy cleanup here for the SMGs. I mean, even if they allow the bomb plans down, would be a disappointment actually for Complexity there. So nice from Nix to sort that one out before it happens. Great start to this CT half.
Yeah, 4 kills on the MP9s as well. You're pretty happy with that. Going to help to start to build up that CT economy. It's just another great start to a half for Complexity. paiN is always just playing on the back foot. Were they able to front run very much yesterday against FaZe in the game that you watched? Or were they always just kind of scraping it in?
No, they were front running pretty much the whole time. They won the first half, 8-4. And if I remember rightly, I think they even started with the pistol in the second.
That's classic
either way.
Shenanigans by the sounds of it.
Yeah, paiN was up to a pretty good lead at one point. That's all. That's the big takeaway. And they obviously were not able to close it out. And so it's going to be a tough one for them to get done here, even if they've got the quote-unquote positive side.
Yeah. Ooh, this A main skirmish is going to be huge. Re-aggression from Complexity with the MP9s is absolutely beautiful. You had the counter flash in there for paiN, but it comes too little too late.
Yeah, Rick's up to some funny business here on the bridge. I'll actually just drop down. So that should signal that this is going to end up being a B finish. That would have been heard by JT as well. So that's prompted the peek in from Grim, who is only able to go 1 for 1. Rotation still coming through from the rest of the Complexity players, but Halzok's actually been able to get out onto the site. Not for very long, though, because Demo's waiting for him on plat there, and that'll be the end of him. JT, pretty important aim tool here, but doesn't win it. Davideus was low, but hits the headshot, and the AKs putting in some real work in this round.
Got to be 60 to be a bit of a difference maker here. He's found a gap. Able to catch the bomb on the cross, but not quite punish it, and peeking out into Demo does not go well for him. Nix, 1-on-3 with an MP9. Some lower players make this a hell of a lot more doable, especially when you're feeding him a pick like that.
Yeah, nice little pop flash. He's going to get this player on pizza as well and spots out the last guy in A main, B main even. Smoke down, draws out the push from Demo, and Nix is going to get it done for Complexity. To make matters worse for paiN now, 10-5. I mean, that's
what is that? That's the 4th or 5th round that they've had a pretty big man advantage.
Yeah.
And they've thrown it in the trash. I mean, that's very unfortunate. Really nice usage of the MP9s in that round for complexity, though, and not like a straightforward kind of thing that you'd be expecting. Like, you know, the played out approach these days is, or back in the day rather, would be you're bringing in a couple of SMGs. Like, you're either just going to play them on some of the close positions like E-Box, or you're going to do something a little bit more up tempo, a bit faster. But I really like that approach from complexity there, getting the MP9s in the mix in the mid round over towards A main with a nice util set.
Goes from bad to worse, really, for paiN, doesn't it? I mean, they've got a buy in this round, but it's not a fantastic one. Not a huge amount of util to play with. 3 smokes, 2 flashes.
Yeah.
Players down to Galil's as well, so it doesn't give you a huge amount of options.
I mean, they've invested a lot of that util in just the early round exchanges with the CT side, but the CTs have a lot more util left over in towards the mid to late round, so you're going to have to see a lot more dry contacting from paiN here. And that's where they're losing Snow already over towards A main. Demo at least able to find JT from B main, so a duel on both extremities goes either which way. That's going to pull the rotations apart a little bit, and paiN are trying to take advantage of that.
It has created a bit of a hole in middle, which is attempting to be patched here by Nix and Sixy, though they're unable to do so effectively, and that'll be the A site now taken for paiN. Complexity can even think about just having a save here for these 2 remaining guns. But with Demo pushing in behind them on the B bomb site, it's going to be easier said than done.
Yeah. They want to take all of these guns out of Complexity's hands. Try to make a bit of a comeback into this game. Grim not ready for this flank. Easy first kill for Demo. They know where Halzerk is. He's still applying pressure.
HP. Dabadeus is going to go down. Has absolutely no idea where NQZ is set up. He's going to get that insend over to main, but neglects to check heaven, and that will be a round for paiN. So it begins here on the T side.
They lose all of their guns there, but they had a little bit of cash on the T side there. So Complexity, I think, will probably have to take a save here, and it'll be an opportunity for paiN to try to get back into this game now. Really, really good stuff from them. I mean, they lost a duel on one extremity. They won a duel on the other extremity. They recognize that in the 4-on-4, the CTs are going to be spread apart a little bit more. There's going to be gaps on the map. They contact into the middle of it. The force buy out here for Complexity, though, they recognize the money is not great for paiN, having lost every single player there. So this will be a bit of a swing round into round 17 now. Pressure on the middle of the map with some really fast pacing from paiN. Sixy just trying to spot that out. Jiggling from cans. NQZ creeping up on the line, but Sixy will respect it for now.
Might have a bit of difficulty, but decides to just swing in with the MP9, and that'll get the job done. There's a push out of B main as well. In that meanwhile, Grim spotting out a player. So info starting to fall into place right now for Complexity, but Halzerk has to pick up middle, and Grim would want to win this duel. Demo's been a bit dangerous outside of B. Not so this time around. Halzerk cleaning up one in middle. There's some degree of awareness that there's something happening in cams, and so that'll be a pretty straightforward trade for Nix. And of course, as we can see, Grim still getting some work done over toward B, which leaves Demo alone. And as you said, swing round. Well, it has definitely not swung the way that paiN wanted it to. Complexity with 4 guns alive, build their money back up, and paiN are in that awkward spot now where they have like 2.5k on all of their players, so the job gets pretty difficult from here.
That's where you see Halzerk with that clutch attempt, taking every gun out of the hands of paiN, comes up pretty massive in a round like this. The subsequent force for Complexity that they get across the line gives them 11 rounds and resets paiN's economy. In one fell swoop, they will have series point here if they're just able to complete a relatively routine anti-eco. We're seeing some good adaptations for Complexity as well, recognizing just how skirmishy paiN are playing. These players on the extremities of the T side of Anubis here for paiN, really trying to create openings, find entries that are going to put the CTs in uncomfortable situations that they can take advantage of, and Complexity are really starting to play around that a little bit more, just pushing in duos.
JT wasn't spotted on that cross. He's actually doubled up in E-Box here as well alongside Grim, so this hit from paiN is just not going to work out. JT slaughtering them as they try to work their way forward. Not a single kill for paiN in that round. Sets Complexity up really, really nicely. 12 on the board now, and they are 1 round away from knocking paiN out of IEM Melbourne, and also, of course, keeping themselves alive, progressing a little bit further through that lower bracket.
I think with their opening game and how solid they've looked in this series, as well as the performance recently over in Bucharest. Complexity are a team that a lot of people will be wanting to see go further. I mean, some rough circumstances for paiN in this tournament. We'll see what they're going to bring into round number 19 here. Last chance for them to avoid getting knocked out of a tournament that would have taken a lot of travel time to get here. Get NQC posting up outside of A main here early on. Util exchange in the mid-round, early to mid-round, as we often see. Big spam through onto JT. Losing a lot of HP over on E-Box there is going to limit what he can achieve in terms of aggression in the mid-round, or really try to take some of those fights if you do see paiN trying to take some space over there later on. But it's not really the point of contest here for paiN. Instead, they're going to take A main in the middle of the map at the same time. Great HE, though, chipping them down as they make their way through, and Hulzerk's on the aggression.
Yeah, with success as well. Re-smoke in there from Nyx as the T-smoke is going to start to fade a little. Nade into it. Oh, Nyx, he spots out at least one player. I think he's aware that there's a couple there as well. Hulzerk still hanging around. And the mid-timing, not good either for paiN. It is starting to fall apart. 4 on 3. Numbers advantage for Complexity. The only one benefit is Rix has got a little bit of space here, and we'll see if he can find a way to activate. Ends up just walking into J2, who was watching and waiting. Grim does go down in the meanwhile, but numbers are still preserved for Complexity here, and they've got the right call to send 2 players toward B.
Yeah, they need to reinforce JT. He's very low, but playing a headshot line like that is good enough. And Nyx as well. Great rotation timing from him. There's the 2-0 win for Complexity. They are looking very sharp here in IEM Melbourne, and that's going to be a little bit disappointing for paiN, but I think, you know, given the circumstances, what could they really do with this tournament? They push FaZe very, very close, and you can see